Seconds, minutes, hours, weeks, but it's a new game week, so it's a new StatrCast. It is the StatrCast. We are the crew from Statr Fantasy Football done better, and now in matching t-shirts, almost all three of us this week. I'm Jimmy. I'm joined, as always, by John, as usual, by Gary, and as a small, sad shadow going over the horizon in some sort of sailboat, looking to discover a new world, the missing men, Dina Hearn and Dermot Kavanagh. What have we got tonight, John? It seems busy.
The world has blown up again. Every time we set an agenda, the world blows up about an hour before. So we're going to look at the team of the week because the FA Cup is at the weekend. So, who cares? We're going to look at last week's midweek fixtures, the review from that, who the team of the week was. We're going to look at some of the transfer talk because the January transfer window has really kind of sparked into life today. We'll do a deeper dive on it at the end of the month in terms of assets, but there's definitely some touch points here that we want to look at. As I said, we're going to look at last week's fixtures, and then we're going to really look at this week's fixtures because over in the other side of the world, people are screaming about their wild cards and their chips and this, and then in our world, it's like, oh no, oh no, oh, what have I done?
The constant mistake of picking up a player that looks suspiciously too good to be true before you realize that he's crippled, which I've done twice in the last 2 weeks. But that's just getting my excuses in early. When you guys see my performance, you'll understand why. Hello, if you're listening and not viewing, we're going to be showing you lots of things this week, but we'll do our best to talk you through them. We've got lovely.
It's almost like there's a place that you'll be able to see everything that we're talking about very, very soon.
Where's that, John?
StatrDraft.com or on the Play Store or on the App Store in days and weeks to come when the goddamn hell Apple pull their finger out. That's all we're waiting on, really. So
it'll happen, and we love them. Love the Apple. Such nice Apple. Such nice Apple.
I'm a fan of the Granny Smith.
I've heard
the Wayne Rooney taste.
You and Wayne Rooney, yeah.
That took all of 10 minutes, 2 minutes to get into the gutter. Well done, John.
Hey, look, Jimmy hasn't had an excuse to use the buzzer yet.
I mean, look, I every time John says something, another hair turns grey. So you can see the progress as the year and a half so far of this cast has gone by. I'm now an old man worrying about John getting us in trouble. Who wants to see things?
Oh, yes. I want to see this magical, mystical team of the week.
Let's have a look at the StatrDraft team of the week. With a reminder to anybody who's joining us for the first time, we use a far more in-depth point system that rewards more action and more play across the pitch. And hello, there it is. It's a 3-5-2, and it's one of the highest scoring teams of the week, team of the weeks, attorneys general that we've ever had. Averages once again over 30 points. The midfield was where it was all happening this week. I don't know what Eddie Howe put in the porridge at James's Gate this week, but Barnes and Bruno with a total nearly 80 points between the two of them. Absolutely ridiculous. Love to see it from Harvey Barnes because he's a player who's had such a checkered history of rotation problems and injury issues, but he's never not fun to watch when he's on the pitch. You just don't see enough.
He's good when he's fit. That's kind of I think the general gist with Harvey Barnes.
Mr. Harvey Barnes to reception, please. Harvey Barnes.
Sorry, I'm going to be at the RDS this weekend, so I had to get my D4 in.
Oh no, come on, no, that's not fair. Okay, they're footy fans just like everyone else. They just watch from a Merc. Sander Berg is in the middle of the pitch also, which is nice because he's not there very often.
Do the klaxon.
I'm not doing the klaxon. I have a totally
surprised that Harry Wilson didn't make the team of the week. I'm surprised Harry Wilson didn't make the team of the week.
You're surprised who didn't make the team of the week?
I'm surprised Harry Wilson didn't make the team of the week.
There you go.
I live for that noise.
Although if it helps,
Newcastle did, to be fair, they beat Leeds 4-3. Barnes and Bruno were heavily involved. Fulham did. Jesus, who were Fulham against? Chelsea, beating Chelsea. Sanderberg obviously was a busy man in the middle of the pitch for the day. Again, I'm actually surprised by a couple of the players that are in there.
Who's surprising you? Curiosity.
Well, that should be Aronson, not Anderson. Sorry, that's my mistake on the graph for anybody who is looking. That's Brendan Aronson for Leeds, who has kind of hit a purple patch in the last 2 weeks.
And 3 goals.
2-1 against West Ham.
Yeah. I think Anderson is kind of an outlier in our system because he's consistently there kind of team of the week. He's been team of the year from the start. He's been absolutely brilliant. He's not a bad player. It's just that he's the perfect example of someone who doesn't do the sexy, glamorous stuff that gets you all the points next door. he's just a grafter. He's stuck in the ball.
But
A
even
lot of
next door,
players
he's
going
in the
through
top
him.
midfielders. Even in next door, he's in the top list of midfielders. Like, and that's in a system where they basically have forwards also listed as midfielders,
Unless you're Alan Shearer.
which still bothers me. But like, Anderson is top 10 midfielder over across the pond as well, and that is despite half of the people in that list also being essentially forwards in all but title.
I mean, this is it, and then it's the regular two out front. They're the two in the team of the year. They're the two that are absolutely dominant. They're the two that are completely fixture proof. One is in a slow patch. One is in a bumpy patch. It doesn't matter. Beg, borrow, or steal. Erling Haaland and Thiago, and then at the back,
the two leading goal scorers in the league.
They are the two leading goal scorers in the league, with Danny Welbeck hot on their heels. Put respect on the name. We love you, Welle. And the back three is not a back three that anybody has. I cannot actually believe that anybody out there would have the common sense to have Matty Cash, the bravery to have Romero, and be stupid enough to have Dorgu. And yet, that's our three this year.
I will say, right, on that, right, Matty Cash has been very, very consistent this season. Aston Villa, we've mentioned Aston Villa in terms of their rotation, whether it seems to be like Matty Cash has a week, Morgan Rogers has a week, John McGinn has a week, Ollie Watkins has a week, and those four players are almost rotating who is the pointsman any given week. Dorgu is the interesting one, right? Because
Dorgu's the outlier there. Absolutely.
He is the outlier because in the last 3 weeks he's been playing on the right wing of a three because of Man United's lack of bodies. So he's been a real sleeper agent, even in all models of fantasy over the last 2-3 weeks, because he's been playing right of that front three.
But it's interesting. He's been delivering in attacking metrics. So I think he got a goal there the last week or the week before, and I think he's had an assist. And for somebody in a system who's a defender is getting a goal or an assist every week, you snap him up.
Like Dorgu, even I'd say for the next 2 or 3 weeks, is actually someone, Jimmy, who people should be looking at. I know in the I think Gary has pulled the plug on that one already.
Yes, I have.
There you go. There you go. But this is in any version of fantasy football that you're playing. He's a defender, listed as a defender, who is a defender, who's playing as a forward. Very like Lewis Potter at Lewis Potter there at Brentford, isn't it? Brentford? Bournemouth.
Brentford. I was about to say Stoke because they wear the same type of jersey.
Yeah, it's Brentford. So Lewis Potter is also a defender listed, who's been playing predominantly in the right of the front three for the last month or so. So you've been seeing him cropping up on a lot of lists lately. And Dorgo, I think, is falling into the same bracket. It's not going to be long-lived because Ahmad and Mbuemo, etc., are all going to be back.
No, but make hay while the sun shines.
He's a temporary pick, but he's a good temporary pick to have.
He's also the type of player that if you have, and he's getting good game time right now, about 2 weeks before AFCON finishes, you try and offload him onto somebody in your league for, I don't know, a Dominic Szoboszlai or somebody of that ilk, because he's scoring 20 to 30 points a week, and somebody is going to be stupid enough to take him. Dean.
Dean.
We all know who it is. Like,
it's Dean.
We all know it's Dean. It's always Dean.
And I've no problem calling Dean out and saying that I will be, selling Dorgu to him over the next couple of weeks to try and get something out of his team.
And you will. As long as it's one of those ones, if you don't overreach, if you go for a Dorgu for a Matty Cash, for example.
You have to have somebody who you think is going to score maybe 5 to 10 points less in the lot, or has scored 5 to 10 points less than that.
You want a cover girl. You want somebody who's high profile, but not actually scoring a whole lot. Do you know who's a great one for that? A great trap trade this year? Alexis McAllister. Everybody knows him. Everybody likes him. Everybody knows he's cool. He's a good player. Everybody knows it. He's not scoring points in fantasy. He's not getting the minutes.
No,
so he's a great trap to give away.
There's definite options like that. If you were to gain other players that will fall into that same pocket, will be O'Brien at Everton, who will be consistent over 10 weeks, whereas Dorgan gets his spike over 3. You could look at any of the fullbacks at Brentford. You could look at any of the like De Kuiper, Van Hecke. Those are the kind of guys that you'll be looking to, do a ditch for Dorgu. It's like, he's on form. He's going to stay in that front 3. And
that's the back 3. And Christian Romero, my favourite violent criminal, Christian Romero, he's just great crack. He's just great crack to watch because you never know when he's going to pop off. Amazed he wasn't involved in the fracas with Villa the other night. And then at the back, you love to see it because all year long it's been Ruffs or Raya or Sanchez, and now finally Ireland's finest is starting to show his paws. It's Caoimhín Kelleher in the sticks
He's
for
been
Brentford.
brilliant the last 3 weeks.
He has. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Nathan Collins starting to poke his head up here as well.
He did
Brentford
last
are
week.
looking good.
He did last week. So I think
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
23 points last week, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy enough for team of the week.
That's team of the week. Yeah, it looks good. No massive surprises, but a couple of traps there. So beware, be wise before you go picking them up. Is it January?
It's January.
What happens in January?
Do you know what? January is very funny, right? Because while we're all sitting there eating Coke and noodles on the 100th of January, Premier League clubs are opening their wallets, new accounting year. And in the last, do you know what it is, right? The January window is always really slow until a domino falls. And once that first domino falls, Antoine Semenyo, and once that first domino falls, everybody moves. So Semenyo...
It's really like panic buying, though, isn't it? Like, it's kind of like our draft.
It depends on where you are in the league.
But I always find January transfer window, it's nearly like your draft night. Somebody picks a goalkeeper, so everybody runs to get a goalkeeper. It's nearly like the rush. And now that Semenyo has gone to City, which for the life of me I cannot understand. But now that he's gone, there's going to be moves all over the place because people are going, maybe we need to take somebody in. And the next big domino to go is probably going to be Guehi. If he goes this month.
That's
like a massive.
Is he City as well? Is that what I'm hearing?
Right. So Liverpool obviously wanted him in the summer. I think they were kind of hoping that they could push the boat out because he's out of contract in the summer, so he's a free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Arsenal have thrown their hat in the ring and kind of gone, we'll take you in the summer if you're looking for a place to go.
Arsenal, with all the defenders in the world.
But then City have essentially shown their hand today and gone, yeah, we're happy to wait for you in summer, but how about you come now?
Wow.
And this is what City have done in the last 2 years. Like City last year bought Marmouche, they bought that defender who's Kusanov, they bought
Kusanov, yeah. They did a massive January last year.
They did. They bought 3 or 4 heavy hitters last year. They're doing the same this year.
Was he that January as well? Semenyo? Was he that January?
Could have been. He could have been. No, I think he was summer. It was Marmouche. It was
Nico
Kusanov. It was another defender. Who was the other defender? Nuna, whoever. Anyway, they signed 4. They spent about 200 million last January, and I'd say they're on track to do it again.
The Guehi one is interesting.
A lot of sense.
The Guehi one is interesting, though. I mean, look, he's a couple of choices at the moment. Obviously, he can stay at Crystal Palace. He's a club captain there. He'll be getting game time left, right, and centre. He moves to Arsenal, and Jimmy, you've made the point. They have all the defenders in the world. If he goes now, or if he chooses Arsenal, he doesn't go in the summer because he's not guaranteed game time. And that is absolutely a consideration coming into World Cup year. If I was a betting man, I'm thinking he goes to City because he sees, like, if you're sitting in Guehi's shoes, right, you want to be playing regular football. You want to be playing regular football at the best team possible. He's pretty much guaranteed that between now and the summer at City because of the amount of injuries they have at the back. And if he moves to City in January, he cements his place on the plane for the World Cup. It's not much doubt anyway. It's not much doubt anyway. But that's probably
I don't know.
At all. But he cements his starting position. Certainly.
But there's 2 things that have always stuck to me with Pep in terms of from a fantasy football lens, but they seem very, very relevant if you're a young player picking which club to go to. One of them is Pep Roulette, in that he'll rotate and not use anyone.
Not a problem.
And the other is the
not a problem at centre back.
No,
fair enough. But the other issue is, but year one doesn't statistically go well for anybody at Man City. Guardiola's first year was
quiet. Won't be a problem there for him. He's a captain at Crystal Palace. He's actually already won a trophy in terms of the FA Cup. It's not going to. He's basically going in as a plug. He's one of the few Pep signings who would be a plug and play. You go standing there beside Ruby Diaz. Because Ake's out injured, Stone's out injured, Guardiola's out injured. Diaz has got a couple of weeks injury as well himself, but he'll essentially go straight in. It makes a lot of sense. He also hits their English quota and stuff like that. Helps with that. There's no negative signing to any team who goes in for Marc Guehi and gets him are getting a fabulous player.
They're getting a ready-made.
Yeah.
They're getting a ready-made captain straight away, if not future captain in a couple of years' time.
100%.
It's I was actually out of all of the transfer talk that we've spoken about at length on here, that Liverpool have done the bit that actually hurt the most for me was not getting Guehi, because he's a ready-made replacement for Van Dijk.
Yeah.
He really is. And
100%.
he's a fabulous defender. He really is. I think City will throw more than they need to throw at Crystal Palace to force a decision out of them.
I think if they went in with 30 million now,
I think they'll go in with 40 just to.
I think they'll go in with. I think that makes. If it was last summer, I'd say yes, because he's only got 6 months on his contract and they can bend the barrel a little bit. I think if you're a team with 6 months left on the contract and you can go, we'll give you 30 million rather than nothing, you're hoping that it sparks a bidding war. You're hoping as Palace that Arsenal come in and go, we pay that.
Maybe, but I think City might go in heavy and go, look, we're just going to scare Liverpool and Arsenal off, and just get the deal done. But it could go either. You're right. It could go either way. I think the only reason City get in and throw money at it in January is their injury list. If Diaz, if Aki, if Stones all weren't out injured, Vardy if they all weren't out injured, I don't think City even consider it. They might consider trying to get him on a free in the summer.
They would have looked at him in the summer on a free, I think.
Yeah, and maybe offload one or two of those defenders to make a bit of money back in. But now their hand is being forced. Their hand is being forced big time. I suppose that the challenge for Guehi is if he goes in there and then all of these players come back in April or so and he loses his spot and hasn't played. It's a risk. It is a risk, but whether it happens or not is.
So on transfers and players we love to hate to love, we have some news tonight, I believe, in the last couple of hours, because when I left work, he was off to Villa.
There's a few moving parts. There is a few moving parts. I will just mention on the Guehi one before we move off it, Ake is the one who'll be offloaded there, by the way, because Gvardiol will move to left back, Diaz and Guehi will be the centre backs, and Stones will be like the rotationary option, and Nathan Ake will be the one sold in the summer. So we'll just do that. In terms of other transfers, a big one is obviously Semenyo went to City, which means he's no longer an asset in any form of fantasy football, because he's going to be sharing minutes with Foden, he's going to be sharing minutes with Doku, he's going to be sharing minutes, and that's before Marmoush comes back. So
I'd say I wouldn't say he's not any kind of an asset. I'd say this moves him from a second round pick to a fifth round pick.
Probably even further down, because the wingers at City is where most of the players have their hassle at the start trying to plug into the Pep system. Look, he scored in his debut, but it was against Exeter, so let's not put our heads above the parapet.
Everyone scored against Exeter, the poor bastards. 10-1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 10-1. He's the sort of player you pick up in round 8 or 9 on the off chance that he might get a run of games.
Yeah, and if he stays in his current form, then the one that falls away is Doku, because Foden's got the spot on the other side. So that's how that's going to pan out, if we're going to be bluntly honest about it. Moving off of that, the couple of big ones today are Paqueta, they're Conor Gallagher. They're probably the two big ones. I'd like to touch Paqueta first. Paqueta first because I think it's a meaty fucking story. So Villa and Spurs have both put in offers by all accounts, and he has basically told West Ham, I don't want to be available for selection. I do not want to be picked. I do not want to be here. And I'm done in English football, and Flamengo is the team I want to go to. So they've put in a 25-26 million bid. West Ham, by all accounts, won about 34-35. But he's basically said, I don't want to play. I don't want to be picked. I'm done with English football. I'm done playing under the FA. I do not like the way I was treated during the betting trial and scandal. And I'm done. And for me and my family, the best thing for us is to go back to Brazil. So, yeah, accept whatever bid comes from my team, Flamengo, back in Brazil, because I will not be going to another team in England. So
question.
Yes.
He says he's done with English football because of how he was treated by the FA. But he didn't say that before West Ham went down the toilet, did he?
No, he has, yeah. His interview, he had an interview a couple of weeks ago where he got a red card for petulance, basically, for just losing the rag with the referee. And he came out afterwards with a statement kind of going, Like,
Yeah.
I'm sick of this shit,
Yeah, but
basically.
Yeah, he hasn't been as vocal, but you can definitely see his attitude from last season. To be fair, I was putting it down to the fact that he didn't get his move to City, and he was throwing his toys out of the pram because of that. But this kind of makes a lot of sense.
Well, I can understand it as well, because if you're in the players' boat, right, when it was Ivan Toney, until it was a charge, everybody was wondering who the player was. It wasn't public knowledge who the player was being investigated for betting actions until a charge came to his table. Whereas Paqueta was basically reamed through the media as a public scapegoat and it was.
Yeah, but you know the difference there is sheer good luck. I mean, it wasn't like there was a super injunction out to not discuss Ivan Toney's
No, they
name.
didn't talk about it because Ivan Toney was obviously potentially going to be on the plane for England to the Euros and this, that, and the other.
Oh, English player. Okay.
And it was a case of, well, a Premier League footballer is being investigated, whereas with Paqueta, he was publicly named from day zero. So I can understand from his perspective, kind of going, fuck this place, because no matter what I do, every time I get a booking, it's going to be, oh, did you put a bet on yourself and all this jazz. So I don't think if City came in with the money now, he'd even want to go there. I think he's just a case of
no,
go back to Brazil and I want to be happy.
Yeah, and you have to respect that. You know, we've mentioned Troy Parrott doing similarly, putting his own welfare above, you know, money as such, because I'm sure he'll be getting paid a hell of a lot less playing for Flamengo back in Brazil. But yeah, look, I totally get where he's coming from, because he got treated really, really badly. Even when it was all at allegation stage, he got absolutely rinsed. And ever since then, everything he's done has been under the spotlight, and he's been painted being this, you know, this petulant, hot-headed Brazilian lad who nobody can control. So yeah, I see. I can understand exactly why you'd want to. And to be fair, anybody and everybody would want to get out of West Ham right now as well.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's a bit of a
can't blame him.
And before we get, and now let's talk about Villa, because Villa last year I think won the January window. I think everybody will say that, between Asensio, Rashford, and the other bits and pieces that they brought in. They look like they're about to do some bits this year too. So first and foremost, Harvey Elliott's loan deal, they're trying to basically strike it off, because Jimmy, you might not have heard this, but the reason why he hasn't kicked the ball in anger for Villa in months is because once he plays 6 to 10 games, I think it was, I can't remember what figure. 10 games. Once he makes 10 appearances for Villa, it's a 40 million obligatory transfer. And Unai Emery and the board have said we're not willing to pay 40 million for him. Now, he's played for 2 European clubs this season, because he togged out for Villa and he togged out for Liverpool. So, the only option is the States. So, they're trying to basically get Liverpool to organise a loan deal to FC Charlotte in the MLS, which should get him minutes. Shame for him, because he was the player of the tournament at the 21s competition in the summer, and this season was supposed to be his, you know, forward momentum and get me on the plane to the World Cup. It's bit him in the nuts. So they're trying to terminate his loan as long as there's a place for him to go. They don't want to terminate it until they have a home for him. Now, on the flip side of that, they're selling Donny Mallon after bringing him in last January, and they're selling him to Roma. And they're bringing in Tammy Abraham from Roma, by all accounts, who's on loan at Besiktas. So the idea is terminate the loan to Besiktas. It's a very messy domino effect of Villa, basically. Malin goes to Roma. Roma will terminate the loan deal for Tammy Abraham. Abraham will come back to England to Villa.
That's a lot.
It's a swap deal as well. There's no money involved, I don't think, is it?
I think it's one of those ones where 2 fees collapse for the purpose of amortization on the account.
Yeah.
It's basically a modern version of a player swap.
Wow. Okay. So, and they went in for Gallagher as well, did they?
They went in for Gallagher. That looked up.
Fabrizio
Romano announced at about 2:00 today that it was down to the player, and then about an hour beforehand, Spurs, who are obviously missing Bentancur now for the rest of the season, and Kudus till at least April, have by all accounts lodged a 26 million bid for him, permanent, whereas Villa's deal was a loan with an option to buy in the summer.
6 million for Conor Gallagher.
He only sold for 34.
Shockingly low.
I think
he only sold for 34.
2 things that spring to mind immediately with this Gallagher transfer. 3 things. Firstly, I'm delighted. I think he's a great asset for the Premier League, so pick him up. I think him with Polina gives Spurs a little bit more bite in the middle of the pitch. which they desperately. We've talked about them losing games by having nobody to connect back to front. But the other thing is, this does seem like a massive missed opportunity for United. I think United needed Conor Gallagher more than any other club in the league. But Spurs, the more I think about it,
the problem at Man United now is they're a rudderless mess. So they're not going. They're going to do this January, and just the one line I have on Man United tonight, because I don't want to get into the. It's taken me a week to be correct on Ruben Amorim. By the way, you know the way you all come back and go, oh yeah, we tend to come back and say John's right. It's taken a fucking week.
What happened to United this week, John? All I know is they lost to Brighton.
They played Kobe Mainoo. They played their back four system that the fans wanted. They got one of the boys in Darren Fletcher in. They played some of the youth players. One got sent off. They lost to Brighton. They lost to Burnley. They played Kobe Mainoo, who did a grand sum total of sweet fuck all. And it's almost like
they were terrible.
His eyes didn't lie to him.
They were terrible. And much as I love the media coverage of that match talking about United, Brighton were the better team. And I don't often say 100%. That. Mostly because of 5 changes in the starting 11. And Liverpool 100%. Next, by the way. United in the third round, Liverpool in the fourth.
But Gary, you saw a weird rumour today, and we'll get back to the Conor Gallagher piece in a minute, because this is just a nice segue. Just on the Man United thing, what Man United will do in January is they'll do one of those media signings, someone who'll placate the fans, a jersey seller, a hype man. Yeah. Gary, who was the one you saw early on? Because he's a childhood fan of the club by all accounts.
Oh, sorry, you're going to have to remind me.
Cole Palmer, you said.
Oh, great. Sorry, what? Yes. Apologies. Yes. So, what's this about? There are rumours floating around that Cole Palmer is potentially the replacement for Bruno Fernandes.
Bruno wants out.
Bruno apparently wants out because of what's happened with Amorim, and Cole Palmer is the number 1 replacement for Bruno Fernandes.
And the reason Maresca got his boots in a twist a couple of weeks ago was because the medical team vetoed Palmer coming back from injury early, because it would affect his resale value if he got 2 injuries of the same thing in a short space of time.
Oh my!
And he's a childhood Man United fan, by the way. So it's one of those. Here's a Man United fan coming home. Blah 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 blah.
You'd wonder whether or not he'd want to jump from one shit show to another.
He's from Manchester. He was in the City Academy. He's a Manchester United boyhood fan, and also with the way his media darlingness is, it placates the fans. With it, it sorts out an Ineos problem. It sorts out a Bruno long-term problem. And it's one of those ones. It covers an English quota, and
look, it makes absolute sense.
It kind of makes sense. It's missing a piece, though. It's missing a piece, and it's a piece that you've brought up before on this very show, which is that Bruno and Cole Palmer, right? Yeah, free kicks, incredible awareness, ability to get the ball into an attack, fantastic, wonderful. Did you not say that Bruno Fernandes is covering huge ground? Cole Palmer is not a man who covers ground at all.
But also, supposedly Bruno Fernandes isn't a number 8, and his numbers have fallen through the ground since he's gone back into his number 10, where he had the most goals and assists of any player in the league as a number 8. But anyway, I digress. It's almost like watching football is actually better than listening to a Jamie Carragher bias punditry or talk sport. It's almost like the guys who look at the data and look at the matches know what we're fucking talking about sometimes. We watch the matches and we verify it with our data.
Jamie Carragher is a very handsome man.
Jamie Carragher is a fucking idiot.
Jamie Carragher is a very handsome man. Jamie Carragher of Sky Sports is a very handsome man, and we are moving the fuck on.
Oh, yeah. But yes, beyond that, like I think that's one of those kind of transfers. But the Conor Gallagher one makes a lot of sense, right? To Spurs, because as we've mentioned before, Bentancur and Palhinha together, they're very stodgy midfield ball breakers, ball takers, nobody who can pass the ball. Whereas on the flip side of that, Conor Gallagher he's a shuttler. So him and Palhinha actually, as a double act in midfield, solves a lot of the problems in that Spurs midfield. And that 26 million, that means that, right? Just for context here, Palhinha was alone with a 25 million option to buy, or mandatory to buy at the end of the season. Conor Gallagher for 26 million. That means Spurs have sorted their midfield access for 50 fucking million, which is less than one Elliot Anderson, which is less than one Adam Morton, which is less than one Bruno Guimaraes. Pick your name.
This is why I'm shocked that it's 26 million. Liverpool have gone 1-0 up against Barnsley, by the way, so it looks like it will be right in Liverpool in the next game. Sorry. I'll just throw it in there. I can't understand why there's not more clubs in for him, and how Atletico are letting him go for 26 million.
I think that's one of
It
the
makes no
I'm
sense.
happy to go home, and it gets me more visibility for the World
No,
Cup.
I
It's a
totally
He's
get
a
World
why
Cup
he
year
London
moves,
wants
boy.
to
right?
go.
He's a
No,
London
look, I
boy as
totally
well.
get why he wants to go, but I can't understand why a United, even Palace, even I don't understand why Forest aren't going and saying, do you know what, we'll give you 35 million, and Anderson, be on your way for 80, and we'll bank 50 million and use that in the summer to rebuild. That's what I'd be doing.
It makes a lot of sense. And actually, touching on Palace, Brennan Johnson, 35 million. So Brennan Johnson cost more than Conor Gallagher is going to cost.
And
So yeah, Jimmy, that
That's
happened there
been
crazy.
last
sitting
week.
warm on the
Spurs
bench at
sold
Spurs for
Brennan
6
Johnson for
months.
35 to Palace. He's a fantastic signing for Palace.
Yes,
But he's been
he is.
sitting warm on the bench at Spurs for 6 months. How can
He
you
has.
justify paying 35 million for a bench warmer? And
He's
Because
young though.
sorry, this is actually
it's winger
really my
pricing. It's
fault, which makes sense.
Madueke and Elanga screwed the market for wingers. Elanga was 50 million. Madueke was 50 million. They're squad players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Elanga, I've heard so many Newcastle fans being like, "Ugh, he's not good enough." The difference is when he's at Forest, you're playing a different type of football. You're playing, and some players suit playing for teams that are more backs against the wall, that can spring a surprise. Elanga's super quick, but when you're in a team that actually has more football, you can't get behind the defensive line when you're as often. So, which means that speed in a counter attack is not as valuable as when he was at a team like a Forest, which is also why he didn't work at Man United, which is also why then when you do the round and rounds and Madueke at Arsenal, what's he really done? And he cost
None.
50. So Brennan Johnson for 35, 36, the Palace makes sense. No, asset-wise, because asset-wise, he is an asset now. But Jeremy Pino is the one who's going to drop out because it'll be Sarr, Mateta, and Brendan Johnson will be that three.
Yeah, and that'll be pretty locked in as well. That's not a fluid squad at front. That's not a rotating squad at all. Grafton doesn't play that way.
Rotation.
That's really a
pretty
great call,
static
Jay, to
on
be
that.
honest. And you know what?
And then
Johnson is the classic kind of like player from long ago who you kind of have this feeling used to be very, very good, and then he kind of wasn't. So he's a great one. He'll be overlooked in a lot of drafts, man. That's a good pick right there.
Yeah, and there's one other team I want to talk about, West Ham.
Who?
West Ham have gone and bought two centre forwards and released Callum Wilson.
I mean, the Callum Wilson release makes sense, but who are the two new forwards?
6 months in, by the way. 6 months in, so they brought him in summer for free.
So 6 months in, he hasn't had a decent run again. I know he was injured for a little bit, but
always injured.
I think he's played maybe 3 to 4 games on the trot, even when he's been fit. And those 3 or 4 games on the trot, he's scored in 1 or 2 of those. Like he has been a decent return. He has been probably their best striker since Michael Antonio, and they're releasing him after 6 months, not giving him a chance. What the?
It's West
Have
Ham.
I taken you through the list of West Ham strikers in the last 15 odd years? Like, if you look at the West Ham have spent more money than any other club on centre forwards, and their centre forwards on average last 18 years. And every time they were basically trying to replace Antonio, who's just chundered on for years, seeing them all off. Fulkrug's the latest one, who went to AC Milan there last week, by the way.
I'm
so
sure
Fulkrug went to AC
a little
Milan
bit mourning over that. You loved him when you loved that signing when it happened. I remember.
I thought it was a brilliant signing. I still do think.
He never got a run.
But he got really badly injured. It's the curse of the West Ham forwards. But they spent.
It was terrible bad luck for the
27. They spent 27 and 28, so about 50 odd million on these two guys, Felipe and Castellanos. One's 18 and the other's like mid-20s. Castellanos is going to be the one straight into the team. Felipe is going to be the backup. So they've spent a bit of money on two more number 9s there in the last week. West Ham still need a fucking goalkeeper because they spent 20 million on Hermanson in the summer to give him 4 games and drop him when they realised he was awful. They tried to sign the Brazilian keeper from Ali or whatever, Bento was his name, but he's gone to Roma as well. So who goddamn knows? But 2 more strikers in at West Ham. Don't touch them with a stick. They're 2 more to the list. Of dud strikers.
They're just cannon fodder out there.
I think that's it for transfer talk today.
Yeah. Oh, and more in a couple of weeks. Obviously, when the window closes, we'll be doing transfer special because there's a lot going on there.
AFCON ends next week.
We totally.
AFCON ends,
Yeah, then it all makes sense. We had a plan this week, lads. We really did. Anybody who's listening or watching, we had a plan. We had times. We knew how long we were going to talk about everything. And then in the middle of it, it was like, no, let's just talk about the fucking transfers because there's just so much there. We could spend like another hour talking about them. But I have pictures from the app because the boys have been listening, and the boys in the league, the boys and lady of the league, have been listening. So what I've thrown together is a quick review of our last game week. Now that we're 5 weeks into the first official Statr League. How it's been going. So, if I may press my share button, now I have to ask for an apology in advance to anybody who's viewing. You won't see the correct name for Damien's team. Unfortunately, you'll just have to hear what that is. So up there, the top left, it's a loss for Damien's team, who are of course called Damien's Wet Feelings. That's Damien's Wet Feelings losing there to Dino's Shannon Valers by 153 to 114. Jack taking a kicking from Kim, 143 to 105 there. Just below that, John squeaking one for Bilbo Baggins against the average score. Just to explain for anybody who's listening, if you've got a gang of 9 like we do, and you're wondering does everyone get to play every week? One of the built-in features of Statr is if you've got an odd number of players, we don't want anybody left out. Whoever's odd plays against the average score of everyone in the league that week. So you're playing against the whole league. You're never left out. You're never sidelined. Nobody has a 0 week. It's kind of cool. It's a little bit more inclusive. It means you can have odd numbered teams or odd numbered leagues. It's cool.
We ain't doing any NFL bye weeks out here.
No bye weeks. No quarterbacks. That shit's that's across the pond. The biggest win of the week, Stroke City, Gary's incredibly inappropriately named Stroke City, double of Dan Byrne, baby Byrne. That's our champion, taking one right in the face and then across the back of the forehead. And then I lost the Cav Bowl
this week, Jimmy.
Yes, I lost
the Cav Bowl? You didn't just lose the Cav Bowl.
I got hammered. It's been a while since I've lost the Cav Bowl. This is the worst season I've had in ages. I was just actually going to show you guys if you want to see, because yes, I have been invited.
Badly. It was literally like being an altar boy in a Catholic church in the 80s. But like, come on.
Yeah, it was pretty poor. But here's the league table. Again, not a happy time for me. But let's see if we can find this. Here is from our very own app.
It's there's the beautiful while you're pulling that up. We after the draft, we all kind of sat here and kind of questioned Dermot's ability to draft, and yet there he is.
We always do.
Top of the league.
We always do. And he's 5 from 5.
He transfers well. He always does it. This is what we're saying. Dermot is
5 from 5. I'm just going to throw this in there. One of those wins was a 4-point win, and if you look at the scoring system in Statr, that is like the ball going half an inch over the goal line for you to win 1-0.
Yeah,
that's a Florian.
That's losing like that, and I lost like that in week 3 to Dermot. And
that is Florian work. His offside goal.
Yeah. But everyone's lost to Dermot. Be fair, everyone's lost to him. He's played 5. He's won 5.
Lost 4 points, Jimmy. 4.
I know your pain.
I want my moment to rant. And I'm taking.
Sir, I still hold the record for the smallest losing margin in any game in Tlug history, which is 1/4 point.
You do.
Was that the Chris Smalling conundrum?
No, that was 2 seasons ago. That actually might have been last season, but never ever say his name again. Go down through the table. There's a team on 15 and a team on 12. Amazingly, Kim has 4 wins from auto pick. She does this every year for a few weeks and then it dies. It's okay. Don't worry. This is the Sunderland thing. This is the recently promoted, hasn't a clue, will fall off like wet cake. Stroke City and Bilbo Baggins. Well done, gentlemen. 3 wins each from 5. Not stellar, but not bad. Onwards we go. We've got Jack on 6 points, and then
got this weekend
Damien's Wet Feelings on 6 points, and then just below that we've got Dino, and he's on 6 points as well. And that's the end of the table. No, that's not the end of the table, because there's something horrible happening down at the bottom, and it's me.
Yes,
there on 0 points. 5 games, 5 losses.
Jimmy, do you remember 2 weeks ago when you sent in a picture of the Premier League table trying to be a smartass? This is bitchy back.
They're still ahead of Fulham, though.
No, they're not.
Well, they should be.
They're not. Fulham are 3 points off Champions League places, FYI, while Brighton are in the bottom half. And like your beloved Brighton, you have fallen off the edge of the abyss because you got too big for your britches too soon, and you deserve to be where you were. So
okay. First of all, I have an exceptionally gorgeous frame, so I'm never too big for my britches. Secondly, nobody's britches are bigger than mine, bitch. But this is absolutely the worst season I've ever had. So, guys, as we have just a little bit of time, do you want to see the best team in the league right now and the worst team in the league right now? Because I've brought them. We'll have a little look at Dermot's team, show you what a good draft team looks like. Now, I will say this. Anybody who pops up at a 0 is because this is a new app. We're still building it. We're still perfecting things, right? But you might see zeros that aren't actually zeros. So there's Dermot this week, and you couldn't ask for much more, except that for some reason he put the armband on Ekitike instead of Thiago.
Anybody else. And that's how, and he beat you with that, with captain.
He beat me with that, having hobbled himself out of 31 points. But look at that midfield. Silva on form, Rice as always, Reinders doing things, Gamara's in one of his best performances of the year, Enzo never disappoints. The Bournemouth player Truffaut, is that how you pronounce it? Van de Ven with a quiet one, but he will have loud ones. It was Romero this week, it'll be Van de Ven next week. Coyote and Kelleher, and that Brentford clean sheet is everything for Dermot's fortunes unless he keeps an eye on that, because he's got 3 Brentford players, no matter what way you square it. But that is a damn fine-looking squad.
Fine-looking squad. But he's transferred in very well.
He has. The only concern I'd have there is just consistency. Like, straight away, you've said it there, Jimmy. If Brentford don't have a clean sheet, he's in trouble. Bernardo Silva, does he continue to play as much now with Semenyo coming in? I don't know. The other 4, fine. Actually, Reinders, you wouldn't know whether or not he'll continue to play as much now that Rodri is back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of players there who I would be question marking, keeping an eye on. But look, there's no 2 ways about it. He has done exceptionally well at bringing in players.
Yeah.
Do you want to see the worst?
Oh, are we looking at your team now, are we?
Yes, I suppose we should. Top and bottom and all that. Yes, we're not having a great season.
Talk here.
But I am very, very happy with some of the moves I've made very recently. For starters, as is tradition, I'm transferring constantly. I'm not sticking with what I drafted. Raya, Romero, Hall, and Kadioglu. Who's the poor performer there?
Who's the which?
Who's the bad pick there?
Lewis Hall, injured again, didn't he?
Hall.
Is that why he was available? Damn it. Yeah. I just brought him in. Well, Kadioglu's still working out all right for me, and none of you drafted him. Midfield, again, good players, nothing great unless Rodgers comes good and Xhaka gets back on form. Grealish is a bit disappointed lately. He's what?
Grealish is suspended.
John, why are you saying? Why are you telling him this? The fun part of this game is that he figures this out for himself, and we all laugh.
We all know I've already used my transfers, so I'm stuck with him now anyway. I can't wait to hear.
I have no problem telling him after the fact because he can only move 1 anyway. So unless he's going to try trade Grealish to someone else.
Again, gameplay rule: you can play with 1 transfer per week. You can play with 2. You can play with 3. It's up to your commissioner. You cannot fucking bank them for 5 weeks and have a mini wildcard once a month because that's nonsense. Anyway, out front, I can't wait to hear what's wrong with this. All of you should be ashamed of yourselves. Nobody picked up Dominic Calvert-Lewin, so I did. And he will save my season.
Will come to an end.
In my defense, Jimmy. In my defense, I didn't need to pick him up. I've got Cunha and Haaland up front, so I'm going to exclude myself from that comment.
Fair. Well, I mean, we can throw yours up in a second if you want to do some bragging. And I've got Brian on holidays, and Richarlison has gone quiet. I'm thinking of dropping him. I have my eyes on someone else, but I ain't telling you fuckers, because it turns out now I have a suspended Grealish to deal with. Will we have a quick look at Gary's? The quickest of looks. And then we'll have to do John's, really, don't we?
You'll have to, because my midfield is sex and legs.
My midfield could beat up your midfield, though.
You couldn't. When you look at my midfield, you'll see that you can't.
Oh, not playing football. They just beat the shit out of
in a physical fight? No, they couldn't either.
Yeah.
In a physical fight, they couldn't either.
Here's Gary's lovely Stroke City. And incredibly offensively named. But, Emi Martinez in goals. Dorgu at the back. The ghost of Munoz.
Yeah.
That was clever.
Nathan. You got Nathan. Like that. And predictably, Liverpool players that are overrated in the middle of the pitch. I'm kidding. Zoboslai is worth having. The Bertz is shite. Anderson, Rodri, Odegaard. I can't fault this. I really can't fault this. Apart from Dorgu, I can't fault this. And I know
Dorgu and Emi Martinez are movable. Florian Wirtz probably could find a new home.
I did a Jimmy on it this week, and I took Munoz last week, realizing today that he's actually injured. So I need to do a bit of scouting there.
Another little gameplay thing for you guys. In other fantasy football platforms, if you go to pick a player, he'll have a big red flag on him saying he's injured or suspended. Our game respects your intelligence more than that. We assume you've done your own homework, so you're getting no warnings. If you pick something up that you shouldn't, that's on you, brother or sister.
That's on you, buddies.
And before we move off this, let's have because he won't let me not do it, to be fair, let's have a quick look at Bill.
How many players has he got, Jimmy, before?
Just one.
Is it just
one? But he's a very good one.
My team is correctly.
There we go. It is, again, a little bit of over-reliance at the back, maybe. Maybe took a little bit of a hurt there for 3 goals conceded against Leeds, but still solid. Tion Pope. Saliba and Magala absolutely can overcompensate for that. Anthony Robinson, can't say no to that. If he's on form, he's good. And then the midfield, my God, John, you've built something beautiful here.
My midfield is sex on
that midfield is exceptional. It is.
It's just a shame you don't have a striker.
But between Garner, Caicedo, Sharkey, Cole Palmer, Bruno, I think it's fine. Like, realistically, Thea can possibly be the one to move out for me to get a second centre forward in once I see what comes in.
I would say the next couple of weeks could be very important for you if what we were saying earlier about Bruno and Palmer and United, that could change the shape of your team drastically. Like,
it could, yeah, but if they're both there at the end of January, they both play. So Bruno plays in the midfield and Palmer plays in the 10, and it's not a problem.
As long as Palmer doesn't get injured again.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to go this. I don't think it's going to be a January transfer, to be perfectly honest. I think.
Oh, no. I don't think it'll be. No,
I think that's been pure stuff to get the fans from Bain. But, like, that's
the state of our league. That's the state of our league. We're going to have another look at a few more teams next week, or maybe not. Depends how much is going on. If we make a plan now, then pitches will start exploding or something. But that's what's happening in Game Week 21. Next week, I'm going to lose for the 6th time and then start crying and pulling out my long, luscious hair.
Game Week 21, let's do a whistle-stop tour on the fixtures.
There it is. There's the segue. You got me.
Yay.
Right, first kickoff this weekend is the Manchester Derby, where Michael Carrick is going to be the interim. Make that.
Is it going to be Carrick or is it going to be
Carrick? Yeah, by all accounts, another thing where people need to give their head a bonk. Carrick is going to be the manager with Jonathan Woodgate as his assistant. By the way, the players in the dressing room vetoed Solskjaer.
I don't know. Look, at the end of the day, put your money on City. I am licking my lips at the thoughts of Haaland playing against this. Look, I have Damien this weekend in the league, and I'm like.
Do you mean Damien's wet feelings?
Damien's wet feelings. Yeah, he's going to be crying.
Are you just renaming his team to that? Are you?
Every week, got to rename it every week.
Is he going to get draft punk at some stage?
But Haaland is going to beat that team all on his own this week. So,
yeah, the Man United board have taken the wheels firmly off their own bus, which is mental. The dressing room doesn't sound like it's a happy place. All the reports this season was that the dressing room in Manchester had massively improved, even though the quality was improving. But with the availability of players that they have, they're in major shit. It's an easy City win. Assets are obviously, it's a scored win for City because they're back. They have no defenders.
Yeah,
Bruno will score.
That's why I'm keeping Cunha in my team. I'm not looking to move him.
Yeah, it's the assets there. Obviously, Haaland, Jerky, Foden, Bruno, and probably Adorno.
Foden. It's Foden for me.
I think there's something at the Manchester Derby.
The Derby, yeah.
I think this is the week you pick Semenyo because he absolutely terrorised United when he was at Bournemouth a couple of weeks back.
He doesn't play, mate.
He probably does. He probably does, but Foden always. I think Foden is like a couple of goals short of the record for most goals scored by an individual player in a Manchester Derby already. Because he's bagged a couple of hat-tricks and stuff against him. Jimmy, that's a great shout.
Yeah, I think that's your outer right field. A couple of soft wins next. Chelsea will beat Brentford. Leeds will beat Fulham.
Don't skip
Liverpool.
Jesus Christ. Liam Corsenio, as he wants to be called now. Did you see them the other night?
Who, what?
Who, Chelsea? Or
yeah.
Brent?
Chelsea.
No.
This ain't it.
Nope.
What I missed?
Liam Rosenior is now Liam Rosenior because his family, his father's French, and now he's adding a French flavour because the media will kill him for his time playing for Hull. They scraped past Charlton the other night.
Really?
And they played basically a first 11. Like Garnacho played, Estevao played, Delap played,
and no good.
Correa played, Achapon played, Jorgensen played. Jimmy, one for you. Since Maresca has been let out of the room, Sanchez hasn't played. It's been Jorgensen.
Well, crazy likes crazy, innit?
Jorgensen has been the one in goals for the last 3 games.
And they nearly went out of the cup to Charlton.
Yeah, but I think that could be a stick. Keep an eye on the Chelsea situation in goals for the next few weeks. Keep an eye on the Chelsea system. Asset-wise for Chelsea right now, for the next 2 or 3 weeks, it's very hard to tell. The way
Rosenior they're the only two.
Play it safe. Caicedo. Caicedo's and Chalobah. Chalobah safe as well. That core is safe.
Brentford travel poorly, but this is also a West London derby, by the way. Just in case you're not aware of your London-based geography, that this is a West London derby, very similar to what they had last week with Fulham versus Chelsea. And I think Chelsea will inevitably shit their bed again.
Yeah, I think so. I'd have to say I'd be looking at Shade if anyone hasn't got him. That's who you're looking to pick up here.
I would be inclined to agree. I think
Thiago as well. Obviously, if you don't.
I think Chelsea will essentially double down on him, and someone like Shad will find the gaps.
Yeah.
I like that one. Leeds Fulham in the.
This is interesting because Leeds have been half decent at home over the last couple.
They might have formed team in the Premier League.
No. Dermot flagged something with the Leeds games. The Leeds fans are scary at night, not during the day.
Because they're all day pissed. But Fulham's form in the last 6 games is 3 wins, 2 draws, and that's Chelsea and Liverpool in that run.
That's jokes aside. I think that's the game, the fixture of the week outside of the United derby. I think that's probably the closest match tie there because I don't see Liverpool dropping anything to Burnley. I don't see Spurs dropping anything to West Ham. I don't see Sunderland doing too badly against Palace. I don't see any surprise. Maybe Forest do something in Arsenal, but really Leeds and Fulham are the 2 most well-matched teams playing this week.
Well, let's run through it because Leeds and Fulham. I'm saying the asset there is Jimenez. By the way,
no, it's Aronson for Leeds.
No, it's Jimenez. Jimenez is a streaky forward. The way I've said about Welbeck. Welbeck scores his goals in pockets. Jimenez is in one of his pockets. He's scored 4 in the last 5 now because he scored again.
Has he?
Yeah. He's in one of his pockets. He got an assist there as well in that run with Harry Wilson there the other day against the flick around the corner against Chelsea. So the one game he hasn't scored in that run, he did get an assist. He's in one of his little.
Wait, he got an assist.
The January window's open and Fulham are trying to play forward. So hi guys, I'm here.
When he connected with who?
Harry Wilson.
Carry on.
Cole Palmer this year. But yeah, the asset for me because everybody's going to be looking at Harry Wilson. I think it's Aronson for Leeds, it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin for Leeds, it's Harry Wilson and Jimenez on the Fulham side. I see that
it's attackers. We're talking a high-scoring game.
Yeah, this is a 3-2 or 4-3. This isn't a clean sheets either side game. Liverpool are going to steamroll Burnley. Burnley are shit.
Nope. Liverpool are going to struggle. Liverpool are going to struggle against Burnley. They're going to struggle against the low block, and
normally I would respect that, but Burnley are poo.
Yeah, Burnley. I suppose I was about to say Burnley are poo, but they managed to get a draw against United. But it's United. Look, I think it's a 1-0 win for Liverpool. I wouldn't be looking at assets from a. Normally, I'd look at a team like Liverpool going against relegation fodder like Burnley and be picking up assets left, right.
Is it Gakpo?
No.
It probably is Gakpo because
it's Szoboszlai. It's Szoboszlai, and I'll make the case for it. Right, if they're playing a low block team that are hyper defensive, that are just booting the ball up the other end of the pitch, then the guy who's landing in all of the medium range passes, particularly if he's out on the edges of the game. And Szoboszlai has of late been playing as a right back. So I think an awful lot of the Burnley clearances go to him and he starts fucking sniping them back in. I think Szoboszlai's crosses and key passes are the ones to watch this week.
I'm gonna make the argument that if you're looking at anybody from Liverpool, and John, don't piss yourself laughing at this, I'm gonna make the argument for Florian Wirtz.
Moving on to the next topic.
Moving on.
Look, I'm just going to throw it out there. And look, if I'm wrong, you can lambast me next week.
And trust me,
We will.
I will. Sunderland Palace next. Palace have really wheels off the bus.
Defensive injuries and suspensions from a team that made their bones off their defense. Because as we've said, they don't have firepower until Johnson's
there. I don't think it's necessary. Like, is what they're really missing? It's Mitchell. Like, Guehi's available.
Richards.
Munoz is out.
Richards is out.
Is back, I think. Chris Richards is out. So it's your 2 wing backs that are missing, but your 3 centre backs are fine.
I'm saying boring 1-0 for Sunderland.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think Palace are in major trouble though. Like their form is really falling off a cliff. Spurs, West Ham. Whoever loses that gets fired.
This is why I think this could end up in a card fest. I actually think this could end up with 2 or 3, possibly 2 or 3 red cards.
There's a kick.
One of those managers is losing their job after that game.
Yeah.
I don't think necessarily. I don't think necessarily Thomas Frank does. I think necessarily Nuno does.
No, I think Thomas Frank does. If they lose to West Ham at home, having won 3 games at home in the calendar year. No, he's on this.
If Spurs lose to West Ham in a London derby at home, coupled with what happened during the week, and if anyone hasn't seen this, look up Thomas Frank Arsenal Cup, and you'll see that he was spotted drinking coffee from a cup with an Arsenal crest before the last Spurs game.
Yep.
If he loses to a London team at home, see you later.
Yeah, fair game.
He's already walking the plank.
Yeah, I think it's a shame. I think he's a fantastic manager. I think if he was given the season, I think they'd be fine. I think you'd see the best of it next year.
I would agree with you there. Yeah.
I think
I'd say don't touch any of the assets here, because the players you can normally count on to be picking things up are exactly the ones who'll get sent off. Polina, Romero, Richarlison. The man whose headbutt arrives 5 minutes before the rest of them.
It's a shootout between. Well, remember West Ham have also not got Paqueta because he said no, I don't want to play anymore. So you're going to be looking at either Van de Ven or Bowen, whichever one comes out on top of that battle. Whichever one comes out on top of that battle is the asset to have.
Fernandez is another one for West Ham.
Matheus Fernandez, yep.
Yeah, he's another one that particularly.
I think Jimmy's right in saying this. I think Jimmy's right in saying leave this game alone, though.
Yeah, don't touch it, lads. It's going to be dirty. It's going to be messy. Don't go near it.
Forest Arsenal.
Declan Rice. Sorry, but it's him every week. Odegaard's on form as well, to be fair to him.
Odegaard is on form. I'm delighted I actually got him in. I picked him up.
This is Gyökeres' week.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
As Gyökeres' biggest slapper since June, I will tell you for a fact.
I will put money on with you here and now, with the audience as witness. Florian Wirtz will score more points in this game week than Gyökeres will.
Yeah, but Gyökeres is going to score a goal this week.
Well, if he scores a goal, he's going to score more.
Gyökeres is going to score this weekend.
He won't play. He won't play. He's just off a heavy. He won't. Ezzy will play.
John, if you want to put your money where your mouth is.
No. Against Forest the same week.
I'm in Dublin at the week.
When you play your Ezzy.
Tell you what, I'm up your way Sunday, Monday. I'll buy you a pint. Deal. Right.
On to Sundays responsibly, folks.
Wolves and Newcastle.
Sunday's fixtures. Wolves Newcastle.
John, your double Newcastle is looking pretty fine right now.
It's going to be fine this weekend.
Yeah. I don't think Barnes does another 40-pointer, but I could see Bruno Gomi being busy. Woltemad's overdue a little haul as well. This would be the kind of place.
Woltemad hasn't been playing. Vissa has been playing though.
Yeah, since Vissa's been back, Vissa's been playing.
Okay.
Been out of the team, which upsets me greatly.
Stop scrambling for your striker, Jimmy. You just see the cogs going. Ooh, Vissa's back.
Yeah, well, I'm good. Like as soon as I can make a transfer, I'm going to make a transfer. But
there's Tia set pieces, both boxes. Wolves are going to put that ball in box. He's going to clean them up, and attacking set pieces is an option. Tia is the asset.
Respectfully disagree. I think it's Nick Pope.
Cool, I have both. I'm
past that defense. Oh, you've both, don't you?
I'm good. I'm happy. I have both. Villa Everton. It would be the Jack Grealish derby, apart from the fact he's mine.
It would be a Grandel game.
It's at Villa Park.
It's at Villa Park, but Everton have not been great of late, and Villa have been really good lately.
Everton are one of the two teams most affected by AFCON in terms of performance level.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be Fulham, given the profile of the players that they lost. But Ndai and Doucouré out of the Everton team have been two huge
Huge
gaps.
losses.
Ndai is massive, yeah.
Huge.
He could just take that ball to his feet, man. I've
I
not
think
seen a
it's
dribble
Villa,
like
and I
him.
think it's Morgan Rogers. I think that's the pick.
Yeah,
for me.
I'd be looking at any Villa defenders. I don't see how Everton get any goals this weekend. So if
Yeah,
there's a Villa defender who hasn't been picked up in your league, look at him.
I think that's about right. And then the last game is Brighton versus Bournemouth.
I think we're going to see goals, gentlemen, because this Kadioglu Matoma thing is happening.
I don't. I think this is going to be a super stodgy game. Brighton are very, very weird. They don't have two good games in a row. They had their really, really good game this week. I think Bournemouth. I think this screams a draw. I think it screams a 0-0 to a 1-1.
Are you bad?
No,
sir. No, sir. I tell you
think
now,
the two
sir.
of these boys cancel each other out.
Yep.
No, I don't think Bournemouth have anything in defence. I think this is a 3-1 for the
I think this is one of these ones where Bournemouth are going, we don't need Semenyo and watch us, and they'll be super fucking hard to beat. And Brighton don't have two good games on a bounce, and they had a really great game.
Brighton 3, Bournemouth 1, Ferdy Kadioglu.
Okay. We'll come back to that. We will be back next week, and then look at this.
We will be back, and I will be incredibly wrong.
But I think that's the run through there. Game of the weekend is obviously the Leeds Fulham game. That's going to just be a wild game of football.
And the Manchester Derby.
The Manchester Derby.
Fair.
Yeah, those two are the games. But
yeah, I
Manchester
think so.
Derby is going to get sad.
I know it's going to be great.
I just don't think they haven't been good games for a while. Like they haven't. The big derby games in the Premier League over the last 2 years have been a bit shit. After they get really hyped up by pundits and the online guys and this, that, and the other. And what ends up happening is the first 20 minutes, teams are basically going, you blink first. Yeah. It's almost like the best thing for one of those games is somebody. Do you remember the FA Cup there where it was a cracking game? Because a goal was scored in the first 5 minutes, so both teams had to. The plan went out. Do you know what it's like? It's like a boxing match. You can either feel each other out for the first 4 or 5 rounds, or if you land a heavy hit in the first round, then you got to get up and start swinging. And I think that's the problem with the big games over the last few years. When's the last time we've watched one? The best games this season have been like Man City versus Fulham, Man City versus Leeds. They're two of the most entertaining games of football I've seen this
Bournemouth.
Year. Yeah, Palace Bournemouth. There's been
Leeds.
Yeah. It's not been Man United Arsenal. It's not been Liverpool Chelsea. It's not been.
To be fair, outside of Arsenal Spurs, which tend to be entertaining purely because they hate each other.
That still has old school spice.
That old school spice to it, yeah. And even like the Merseyside derby, which up until a couple of years ago had that spice, it doesn't anymore. So it'll probably be a boring watch, or it could be a 6-0 to City, considering they're in the mood. I know it's Exeter and fine, but they knocked 10 past the team, and I don't care who you are. If you put 10 past them, you've done well. So I would fear for United, and I'm going to enjoy watching it on Saturday afternoon or lunchtime. Also, just to update you, gentlemen, if you think that Burnley don't have a chance against Liverpool this weekend, Barnsley have just pulled a goal back. So it's, if Barnsley can score against Liverpool at Anfield, so can Burnley.
It's also the Liverpool fucking youths. Let's be honest here. Jimmy, give us our little app uppy datey and other stuff, so where people can find all the good stuff.
All the good stuff is on StatrDraft.com. Also, if there's two reasons to be listening to this show. One of them is because you're interested in the app, and for all things app, it's StatrDraft.com, or follow me around the Crescent Shopping Centre. If it's anything to do with the actual footballing of it, do not forget our John presents a fantastic little community on a Saturday morning just before the kickoff of games. Head on over there. The man knows his stuff. You can listen to him without the interruption of me jumping in with spreadsheets now and again. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a lovely little crew over there. I've jumped in a couple of times myself. It's great stuff. So have a look at that over on the Tiki Talkies. In terms of the app, as you guys have seen, we're using it. We're playing it. We're having a hell of a lot of fun with it. It's still a little bit rough around the edges. It's not ready for everyone yet. And it also, we're not quite working on iOS at the moment, but once we get there, we're going to be getting it to you. We will be launching the Founder Leagues, hopefully very, very soon, for those people who got on the waiting list early. And unfortunately, folks, you'll be dealing with the world's greatest commissioner, which is me. But for everything else,
bottom of the league.
Bottom of the league.
He's basically Wolves. He's bottom of the league.
Perfect administrator. Already in administration. But yeah, everything's happening at StatrDraft.com. Follow us in the usual places. And unless there's anything else on the table, boys, I think that's us for the week. It's been awesome again. Much love, everybody, for listening. We'll see you next week.
Peace out, meine Freunde. I have to go do my application to be the new Manchester United manager.
Good luck.